Hi there EDCers, today we're doing the full review of this, which is the Buck Rival 1 slip joint. This was very generously loaned to me by EDC Life, formerly New Age Vape. Thank you very much, my man. Quick note, the thumb stud on here, which I highly recommend if you're going to get this knife, by the way, because just look, it was made for this knife, it's begging for it, is how I EDC'd it. However, of course, for the purposes of this review, I'll just get rid of it. But that works really well on there. So there you go. This was $22.95 from Heine Haynes. Of course, I didn't purchase this, but if you're looking to get one, that's where you can get it. Although it's out of stock right now, so that suggests it's fairly popular, I'd imagine. Yeah, it's fine. There's no half stop or anything. It's just a nice, smooth thing. You got your little nail nick there. So there's that. Spring strength on this bad boy doesn't register to open, but to close, it's to be fair, it's about 500 grams. So you can spine whack it like that, and it'll be fine. But once you get it past there, there's really nothing. So if you really like an ultra strong spring, maybe go somewhere else. You can also sort of open this one-handed like that with a pinch grip if you really want to. So there you go. This is non-disassemblable. This is all pinned, so it's like riveted together. So that's not an option. So there's no tooling or anything on that. I assume it's not running on washers. I'm pretty sure, although it might be, but I can't tell. So, and where I can't take this apart, I can't inform myself either. So there you go on that one. You have molded nylon handles, and they're alright. It's not the most comfortable knife in the world, and I was using this a fair bit actually, because I'm trying to speed up my review kind of thing. So I was using it more than I normally would be. And this pocket clip does suck a little bit. It was pushed into my hand and hurting. That is removable, however. I think that will be T6, will it? Yeah, that's a Torx T6 bit. So that's fully removable if you don't want that. It's a deep carry pocket clip. It will look like... It'll look like that in your pocket, which is fine. Like I said, would rather it was black, but it's really not an offensive looking pocket clip. The logo's small enough there that it doesn't matter. So I'm completely alright with that, to be honest. You don't get a lanyard hole or anything. The clip is non-reversible. So while you can access this left-handed, it does have a cutout there for it, so you can still, easily get your hand in. You can still pinch grip it left-handed even. You share out of luck with a pocket clip left-handed, so that's a bit of a, it wouldn't have killed them to add another pocket slot there, would it? But oh well, I guess they didn't. I guess they don't care. There is nothing to stop that from just cutting you. There's no like finger choil here, or like little, like if that extended a little bit further and just hit you before the blade did, that'd be nice, but no chance with that one. So I wouldn't put this down as a heavy user. Personally, this would definitely be for just my kind of EDC, like light boxes, opening packets, just stuff like that. I really wouldn't take this to anything too hardcore. There's no jimping or anything weird like that. It's, like I said, it's just a molded nylon handle. The back spring is a bit odd. It's sort of like the spring's like molded into this bit, and then this bounces off of that spring, which locks into there. So there's that. Blade material is 420 HC, and on your blade there you get those things. You get Buck USA. You get, I have no idea what 364 that thing is. If you know, drop it in the comments. I'll pin it. Nothing on that side except you do get a little Buck logo just there, and obviously your Buck logo on there. The fit and finish on this is it's better than the Walther MPK, but you know, it's double the price. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's, for the price you're paying, just as a little ditty, you know, backup knife or something, or you know, you're going somewhere a bit, you know, unknown, or you know, you're not sure if you're going to get this confiscated or something, even though it's legal, of course, but you know, sometimes they'll still have them, from what I hear it anyway. I personally haven't experienced that, but this would be a great one because it's inexpensive, but I don't know if I'd have this as my main. That could just be my expensive entitled tastes talking. There's nothing really functionally wrong with this knife at all, but there are just a few fit and finish issues that really bug me. Like, for instance, the liners aren't pinned tightly enough together, so you can push them to the edge of that pin, and you can see, even though the liners aren't moving, look at the wobble on that blade, between the blade and the back spring. And I can completely eliminate that. If I just pinch there, that's gone. There is no blade wobble whatsoever. Even if I pinch like right at the bottom. But if that could have just done, and the action is still fine when I'm pinching. I feel like they could have done that a bit tighter. I get that maybe they didn't want to do like T8s or anything like that, but maybe just for the pivot guys. But you know, like I said, it's a budget knife. It's certainly nothing to sniff at. I wouldn't be too angry with that for £22. It's absolutely fine. You know, it's just very easy fix, that one. Just either pin that a little bit tighter or have just that adjustable, like maybe not these two, but just that, because that's a bit of a one, that. But you know, whatever. Edge retention on this, again, take this with a grain of salt, because I'm just some goofball that does office work, and I work in a restaurant, like cutting boxes and stuff, but it amounts to office EDC, what I do. You know, I'm not cutting up onions with this stuff or anything like that. But it lasted 3 days, actually. It's not bad. I had this for 3 days before it needed stropping, and it stropped back like a dream. This was not difficult whatsoever. It was getting hung up on paper. You know, it still had a working edge. You absolutely would have still been able to do a lot more work with it. But it was just starting to get caught on paper. But a little strop and absolutely fine. So look, it's not the best edge retention in the world, but for £23, not having to sharpen it over 3 days, and you know, it's cutting a fair bit of cardboard up, like you know, just stuff like this, like really going through it like that, and it's still loads of that. It's just keeping its edge for 3 days. So pretty impressed with 420HC, to be honest. I had like really low expectations of it, but you know, colour me impressed. 420HC for £23, you really can't go wrong with that. So that the steel on this is 100% fine. Like, don't worry about that at all. Centering, I mean, you already know the pivot's loose, so what do you expect? It looks fine there, but then you can just move it, and you know, a loose pivot, you're never going to get decent centering. So, but I don't think that's not the kind of thing you care about when you're buying a knife like this. This is just a beater, you know, you're just going to use this one. I imagine anyway, to each their own, of course. So I'll whack a few stats up on screen. and boom, we'll do some comparisons. So here you have a UK-PK, a Victorinox Pioneer, and a little classic SD. So yeah, it's right in line with the other options, a little bit smaller than the Spyderco, but you know, even a tiny bit smaller than the Victorinox Pioneer, but I'd argue the Pioneer is probably it has much better fit and finish, but the steel is probably better on the buck. You know, they just list the Victorinox as, you know, stainless steel. So, but I don't know that for sure. You got your PM2, your Benchmade 940, and this will be much more in line, the Mini Grip Tillion. And again, it's basically about the same size as a Mini Grip, just the handle's a tiny bit smaller. So yeah. So what do I think of it? I'm actually really impressed with this knife, personally. You know, I'm definitely more on the expensive side of things. Like, I mean, the sky's the limit with knives. You can go up to like 5,000. I think Alex's Knife Box has a friend that's bought I think it was a Shirogorov for $10,000, like, which is beyond me by orders of magnitude. But you know, the £300 range is sort of my ultra sweet spot. If I really like a knife, I'll go to that. But generally, it'll be around the £120 to £200 range is what I'll be aiming at to buy a new knife and look at it. I'm trying to do a little bit more budget stuff, just because it's been on my list for ages, and this is a fantastic thing. And yeah, it's certainly worked for me. Like I said, just slice paper all day if you want it to. Like, if that's all you're after, like. No problems with that. Another plus side is this was spectacularly easy to sharpen. You know, I don't know if that's just because of the blade steel or the angle, but you know, this is definitely one of my better sharpening jobs on this. It has a little bit of damage to the edge down here, but I can't quite get rid of unless I remove all the blade material in the world. But you know, this was easy as pie to get to a screaming sharp edge that's, you know, fairly decent. And like I said, a strop just brought this right back the moment it went blunt. It's very, very light, which is another plus point. And you've got a nice little ramp on there. I didn't have any issues with this pocket clip, really. Like I said, it's a bit uncomfortable in my hand, but I don't think there's anything wrong with this for the money. I would, you know, personally, it's very subjective, but I'd recommend this just based on my about a week with it. I think this is easily worth £23 if you're looking for a little knife, and as long as you're not super worried about fit and finish. If you're happy to overlook that for just a working usable tool, go for it. This will be fine. If you want it to be a bit more, you know, pretty or something, definitely go somewhere else. Like go down the Longmar No. 5 route. That's got better fit and finish than this, but it's got a weirdly thick blade. The only other thing I'd say is this is just such a good add-on if you're going to use this knife. Like, it really made this a lot better for me. But you know, if you prefer the two-handed with a pocket clip, that's up to you. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers, guys.